Boy, Missouri, that was a beating. Like, the refs got to jump in early and be like, no, 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 no. Holding or I don't know something.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Throwdown Thursday edition, Week 6 of the college football season, and a lot of people are upset, but I'm not upset. In segment 1, Power 4. In segment 2, Group of 5. And in segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. And yes, this week I was entertained. Let's get started. SEC. Good wins by Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia. Shout out to Robert Abney and all the people in New Mexico. Arkansas with a big win over Tennessee. Texas A&M, they did hurt my feelings, but that's strictly for entertainment purposes only. Ole Miss bounced back, and Florida got a win. Lackluster performances by Georgia, and bad losses by Alabama, Tennessee, and Missouri. With us today, Captain for Life, Will Cotton. Will, thoughts on the SEC this week? Big boy football got beat up, man. What do you think?
A lot of big wins for the smaller schools. There's a very interesting, I call the Arkansas sandwich going on right now. We have Texas A&M, LSU, Georgia, all ranked. Arkansas, who is not ranked. And then you have Mississippi, Alabama, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee. So I call it the Arkansas sandwich, the only unranked team that's in that mix. I thought it was very interesting. But it's we'll see what happens, man. Between Georgia and Alabama, they're going to have to decide who's going to play Texas. And if Texas catches an L, it's going to get all bedlam in here. So we'll see what happens. Getting very good. Getting good in the SEC.
All right. And I am so happy to have him this morning. Team leader extraordinaire, Mike King. Mike, SEC didn't have the best week. What caught your attention in the SEC?
I think who didn't have the best week was the refs, because don't the conferences know that you got to make sure you have your teams that are going to make the playoffs? And when every playoff team loses, it's bad for the conference. Like, I feel like the SEC this week, the winner wasn't Vandy. It was some crappy ACC school, some middling Big Ten that's kind of on the board. Like when Penn State loses to everybody, but they'll still make the playoffs. It'll be this week you look back to and go, boy, Missouri, that was a beating. Like, the refs got to jump in early and be like, no, 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 no. Holding or I don't know, something.
Robert, that's Mike talking, not us.
that was a crazy week. Good for Vanderbilt, good for Arkansas, good for parity. Good when the teams that have all the 5 stars and all the transfers and all the NIL money, when they start losing, that's great. Personally, as someone who hates South Carolina, it was great to see Ole Miss just get that fake start to the season, going where we know it's going to go, because they're going to lose to Alabama by 100 next week, and they'll end up with 5 wins, and they'll still come into this area trying to recruit. So yeah, this is a very, very good week for a hater. So
all right.
One more thing about the SEC. If you guys have caught it at the end of the Alabama game, one of the players was upset that they lost, and he was like huffing and puffing and kicking and doing all this stuff. They put the ball down for the last kneel, and he came up and he kicked it. I mean, it speaks about it. It shows a crack in the foundation. It shows the things that Nick Saban talks about, where he says you bring in guys who care about themselves than the program. And doing that kind of stood out to me and shows that, hey, I don't know if he has the best character players moving forward to overcome this thing. But it's very interesting to see how they come back next week. But I just noticed that towards the end of the week, and a couple you might see it on the socials, but it was very interesting at the end of the game too.
All right, Big Ten, a lot of good wins as Mike anticipated. Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Washington, Minnesota, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Nebraska. Lackluster performance by Rutgers in the loss, because you got to kind of get that, win. But bad losses by Michigan, USC, and I think Purdue might have a new head coach next year. But I digress. Mike King, Big Ten, big winners. What do you think?
I mean, similar to the SEC, you had the 11th ranked team in the country lose. You had the 10th ranked team in the country lose. So these like borderline playoff teams getting bad losses, like losses to just like losing to Minnesota. That's not good for USC. The big one
But
for
remember
me.
what Robert said. Robert said when they travel to these Midwestern teams
They're
and they're playing boring, punch you in the face
boring
football.
Yeah.
What are they going to do when it's not cute and sweet?
So I think the big loss is Rutgers, which again, as a hater, and that's one of my hater teams in the Big Ten, I was very, very happy. But they got over the 50. I think was it 7 times or 9 times, and they scored. Check scoreboard 7 points. So that is bad. They have that great running back. Didn't do much. I think they started to get a little too cute. Nebraska. I was watching the quarterback because everyone talks about that quarterback, the freshman quarterback. I didn't think Rutgers was that good. He was in. Like, I wasn't impressed with him, really. I mean, he's a freshman, fine, but that wasn't impressive at all. So I don't know if, again, as a Giant fan, I'm always looking for the next quarterback in this era, and I don't want to wait for Nebraska. But yeah, that was a big loss for Rutgers because their schedule was very easy, and they could have easily been the worst team to make the playoffs, and I hope they hold them out of it.
All right, Cotton Man, what are you thinking about the Big Ten this week?
Oh man, if Indiana can keep it going, they come out with a showdown with Ohio State. That could be that choose the Big Ten, and they're not playing games. Unfortunately, they'll be playing in Ohio State, Horseshoe. So I don't know if they're gonna get it, but it's leading up to that, and it should be pretty good. It'll be a tough matchup for both teams.
They're like the Minnesota Vikings of like college football right now.
Yeah.
Where did they come from, and how long can they keep this up? All right.
I told you they were going to be good. I told you.
Man, they are. All right.
They got the JMU team.
Yes, and JMU lost last night, and we'll talk about that in segment 2. All right, Big 12. Good wins by Houston. Iowa State, that's the one, man. Hey, Monroe, go ahead with Iowa State. WVU with a big win, and Texas Tech. Lackluster performance by Arizona State and bad losses by TCU. What a difference a year or two makes. Oklahoma State and UCF went from the penthouse to the outhouse in 2 weeks. Cotton, any thoughts on the Big 12, sir?
Not a lot going on in the Big 12. Good to see the BYU leading the Big 12 right now. Well, we'll see how that happens. They've always been traditionally a pretty solid team. It helps when you don't focus on, drinking and partying and things like that. So it's good to have a good team like that. Iowa State's going to be a tough team in the future. I wish they played later in the season when they played Iowa. That'd be a little bit more exciting, especially when it's cold and we can call that under. But that's for strictly entertainment purposes, actually, But still interesting about Colorado, man. They're 4-1 right now. They're 2-0 in the conference. They need 2 more wins to be bowl eligible, which will be great for Sanders. We'll see where he ends up. I can't imagine he's gonna stay around with all these moving around these coaches positions that are going to be.
Well, warmer weather might help that too. A little warmer weather.
There you go.
Okay. Just speculation, fans. Just speculation. All right, King. What are you thinking about the Big 12? Our good friend Robert's not overly impressed with them. What about you?
I mean, looking at this conference, I just think, boy, if some middle Big Ten or middle of the road SEC school could be here, they'd be in the playoffs. Like Arizona State's 4-1. They barely beat a 1-5 Kansas team at home. They took a touchdown in the last minute of the game to beat garbage, and that's one of your better schools in the conference. West Virginia has a huge win at Oklahoma State, and then you look at West Virginia's schedule, and when they're not playing the Big 12, they're 1-2, and they lost to like bad ACC. They lost to like an undefeated ACC school who's probably going to lose to a Clemson by 80 if they played them. Like, it's just in this new college era. I wonder if selfishly, is Maryland better off in some crap conference where they could actually
you need the money.
Oh wow,
we need the money. We need the money.
You need the money.
Yeah, money's more important.
The money. Okay. ACC. Good wins by Syracuse. Syracuse is having quietly a good season. Clemson. We've always said Clemson is the cream of the ACC crop. It's when they play The SEC and the Big Ten is when we think they stink. Okay, so they're like the Intercontinental Champion, the U.S. Champion. They're the best, and then you have to worry about. Okay, SMU. I told you they were going to have a good year. Keep going, SMU. Virginia's got one loss, folks. Virginia's got one loss. Pittsburgh, I think, has one loss. A good win for.
Nope. Pittsburgh is undefeated.
Undefeated. They beat
Pittsburgh
West
is
Virginia.
undefeated.
Pittsburgh is 5-0.
They beat nobody.
That's right. They're going to be ranked, folks. I'm calling it. It's a magazine show. Wake Forest beat NC State. I'm mad about that, but that's strictly for entertainment purposes only. Virginia Tech, good win. Georgia Tech, good win. All right. Lackluster performance by Miami. We're trying, Miami. Okay. Editorial note from the OCP. We're trying to fall in love with an ACC team and think they've got a shot at this playoff. You're not helping. Hey, you're not helping. Can we get a better win? All right. Bad losses. Louisville. That's twice in a row now. NC State, you lost your quarterback. And Duke was undefeated, and they took an L. Mike, as an ACC historian, what are you thinking about the ACC this week?
I'm thinking Virginia's 4-1. Their one loss is to Maryland, and Maryland beat them in Virginia, and Virginia's probably going to be one of the better teams in this garbage conference. It's just what has happened to the ACC. It's a joke. It's a complete joke. I'm in on Miami because I like Cam Ward. Again,
you got to play better, man.
Selfishly, I like Cam Ward, so I'd like to see. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Giants blue next year. So Miami's my team. They got to play better defensively, but again, he's throwing for 437. Give me Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward. So he's I don't love the release, but it works. Works for him. So give me Cam Ward.
All right. ACC football. What are you thinking, man?
I don't know. It doesn't matter if it's football or basketball. Duke lost, so I'm happy about that. As a Gator
it's a king level of petty right there, Will.
I'm learning from the best. Again, Florida fan. So Florida State cost another L, which is great. Just really impressed with Pittsburgh. I know they ain't playing nobody, but you got to beat who's in front of you, and until they run into a giant, they're still beating people. So they're 5-0. And that can build a lot of momentum, and belief, even if it's real or not. You go in, you're like, man, we can go and beat with anybody. So it'd just be interesting how, ends at the end of the season. Clemson can't lose another, but I think there could be one lurking in the back end of their season, the schedule. So we'll see what happens. But Mike King is upset about ACC. I think, man, these guys are playing for their lives right now. So we're getting actually pretty good football in ACC.
All right, and the luckiest team of the week, Notre Dame. They had a bye this week, and everybody in front of them lost, so they might be back in the top 10, and then they have to ride it out. But fellas, and I'm going to start with King, Stanford, Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State, Virginia, Army, and USC. King, I think they've got to win out to get into the playoff. Any thoughts on Notre Dame winning out with that run of teams?
Yeah, it's very possible. And with all these teams losing that are right on that would-be bubble, the door's open for Notre Dame, even though they have that horrific loss.
All right, Will, again, Stanford, Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State, Virginia, Army, and USC. Service academies are no joke anymore. No. A lot of these games are at home. They'll be on NBC. So Notre Dame will not go to a conference because they don't have to split that money with anybody. What are you thinking about Notre Dame and their chances for the playoffs? Can they run the table the rest of the season and get in this playoff?
Yeah, definitely they can run the table. I think they got Navy and Army are very tough, both 5-0 right now. First time since I think World War II. I think that's the first time. And coach is a
two history teachers, sir.
Gotta show some love to that. Georgia Tech is tough, as we've seen. Florida State, at the end of the day, they're not good. USC at the end, that's always good, but I think they can make it to the playoffs. I think when we get to the meat of the schedule, they'll have enough wins that even if they lose to USC, they should still get in the playoffs.
All right. Glad you brought that up. To close the segment, guys, I usually don't do this, but At the Clemson Florida State game, there was a sign that says, "While you're here, take DJ back." Well, that was really mean,
I
but
saw
they
that. That was
made me
pretty funny.
laugh. So anyway, in segment 2, Group of 5, get to me. Group of 5 talk. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful antidotes, Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasaveproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment 2. Let's go Group of 5. In the American, good win by Navy, Army, Tulane, and quietly Charlotte's put a couple of wins together. Bad loss by East Carolina. That's not good. Will, did you check any of the American out this week? What do you think?
Oh, I was looking at Army and Navy again. I've been talking about them during this for the show every week, and again, we'll talk about they're the best record since 1945. I don't think any of us were alive right now, which is pretty good, morale for the country. Just keep it interesting. Just keep it interesting. Beat teams when you should, and I think there's an upset lurking for them. So we'll see, man. But three good teams. Shout out to Robert for North Texas, right up in. Traditionally, they would be number one in the conference. But if it's just a one in 60 years, the Army and Navy are good. They're actually third. So I'll give them props, man. They should be right up there too, North Texas.
All right, Mike, the American, the AAC, if you will. What are you thinking?
UConn is 4-2 in football. Maryland beat UConn again. Every conference, Maryland beat.
Hey,
UConn.
UConn's an independent.
Aren't they?
UConn's an independent.
They want to be.
Oh, they want to be American.
They want to
be. Basketball doesn't want to be. That's why they went to the Big East. So football is an independent.
Yeah. Well, didn't they just beat? They beat it.
Yep, they did. They beat Temple at the end with a ridiculous.
So they beat a team in the conference again. It's just unfair. It's all unfair. But yeah, Army, Navy. I'm in on the military schools. I like that.
Okay. All right. Mountain West Pac-2. Good wins by Boise State. Okay, Boise State. This is your time. This is your chance. Keep winning. Oregon State and San Jose State, but they just didn't win by enough. But that's strictly for entertainment purposes only. Bad loss by UNLV. You knew it was coming. You just didn't think it would be against Syracuse, but Syracuse has done pretty well. And on a basketball note, Gonzaga is set to become the newest member of the Pac-12. And UTEP is expected to become the 7th full member of the Mountain West Conference. Mike, do we even care now anymore about the Pac-2, Mountain West? What are you thinking?
Yeah, the only thing I care about of all the things you just named is Boise State, because they got the running back.
Yeah,
he's a beast. Oh my
God, tough.
Entertainment purposes only, but it was minus 4,000 for a touchdown, and he got it on the first carry.
Yeah,
20 yards,
dude.
I saw that bet, and it was like,
and the spread was 26.5, and even I said, I'm not touching that. The computer said it was an A play. I said, man, that's a lot for an A play. Beat him by
I looked at minus 4,000. Why would anyone? And then the first run, it was like, oh, that's why. And then it was 3 touchdowns was like minus 100 or 200 or something, and he got that. Like he's incredible.
Will, what are you thinking about the Mountain West Pac-2?
I can't say enough about this kid, Ashton Jeanty, I believe his name, Ashton Jeanty. Dude has 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards out of 5 games. 1,000 yards. This dude is insane. And running on those blue field, my kids love it. I love watching. It reminds me of watching when they used to beat Oklahoma in that crazy game, that crazy bowl game where they ran the hook and ladder. Boise's back, man. Glad to be back. and keep showing that blue field, man. I'm here for it.
All right. Shout out to Drew Smatt, former player of mine at Wooten, who's just celebrated a birthday. He lives across the street from the stadium and has invited Coach out next season for a Boise State home game. So we're going to try to find a flight to Idaho and tape the Odd Coaches podcast remotely. I love James Andrew Smatt, and you're an idiot. That's an inside joke. All right. Conference USA. Good win. Sam Houston State and Jacksonville State. No real bad losses. Fellas, they're going to start playing the random schedules. So they'll be playing on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday games moving forward. Don't know how much I will be interested, but strictly for entertainment purposes only, I think Will may hit a button on a Tuesday night sitting on his couch. Mike, do we even care about Conference USA other than Liberty, who will play before this taping comes out on like Tuesday or Wednesday?
Oh no, Liberty's the only one that could potentially matter for
All
playoffs.
right. Will, do we care?
And they didn't play this year, so we can keep moving. I mean,
All right.
so keep moving.
Good enough. Sun Belt, good wins. Texas State, Marshall, Coastal, University of Louisiana at Monroe in Louisiana, bad losses. App State's terrible. George, we're not worried about them right now. And again, prayers go out to them. They are in that impacted area. But JMU losing, that's not good. Texas State, talks with the Mountain West has ended. They're going to remain in the Sun Belt. Good for them. Mike, any thoughts on the Sun Belt this week?
I mean, the story is James Madison because
They blew it.
they blew it. They had an easy path. They had an easy path to be in that playoff conversation because of what they did to UNC, that beatdown, and this just ruins the whole thing. And now you got to hope you win out. Then what? Boise
Boise's the better story, and they got the running back who might win the
Oregon by
Heisman.
3. They're the ones. If you think so, a one-loss team, I'm taking them. Yeah, they ruined it.
Yeah.
Let's hope. Okay,
Yeah.
Will, what do you think about Sun Belt, sir?
Same as Mike King, man. It was sad to see James Madison lose. They, lose their focus. That's really it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's over. Okay. We're almost at Tuesday night action. Good wins from Northern Illinois, but they're out of it. Western Michigan, always like our directional schools. And go Toledo. No real bad losses. Will, any thoughts on the MAC this week before we get to Tuesday night action soon?
Shout out to Buffalo. A lot of my family graduated to Buffalo. They're doing pretty well. Third in the conference. So let's go Buffs.
Okay. King, anything in the MAC?
I mean, Toledo, Northern Illinois, solid wins, but yeah, none of these teams.
Okay. All right, and our weekly shout out to HBCUs. First of all, I believe it was Arkansas Pine Bluff. Well done at WWE's premium live event, Bad Blood, playing Cody's theme, Kingdom. Good work for the HBCUs. All right, good wins. Tennessee State, South Carolina State, North Carolina Central, Morgan back in the win column, FAMU, Alcorn State, and Jackson State. Bad losses by Norfolk State. Guys, you scored 3 points against Sacred Heart. What are you doing? And Southern gave up 51 at home to Nichols. Don't schedule a team that's going to beat you by 51 at home. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Won't bother King with this one, but Will, any thoughts on HBCU this week?
Unfortunate Delaware State lost on their homecoming. Shout out to DSU. But Morgan did win on their homecoming, which is 41-0. So shout out to the Bears. And
Did they play Lincoln?
Yep.
Hell you, Rendell Hall 101. What's up,
Yes,
Deans?
sir.
That's my college roommate now. I was only at Lincoln for a semester. Go read the book if you want to find out why. Go ahead, King.
Incarnate Word, Cam Ward's first school. Go Giants. Cam Ward. That's what
There you go.
Right there. 56-28 over Prairie View.
All right, we'll take it. And Robert, we got a Prairie View reference in. All right, segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only, and we will do our rankings, which are better than their rankings. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Safe Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Safe Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us in empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasafeproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Safe Project today. All right, welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3. Let's get to the Week 6 college football rankings. Now, again, we're a magazine-style show, folks, and we tape before everybody else, so ours is really ours, and then we can match it up. So, fellas, I got Texas back at number 1. They're from the SEC. I got Ohio State 2, Big Ten. I got Clemson winning the ACC. So, again, when we do conference champions, that's what we're doing. I've got Iowa State still winning the Big 12, and I got Boise State right now getting the Group of 5 bid. So now the next 7, and that's what you need to care about, fans. In the Big Ten, we've got Oregon. Alabama still in because of the win over Georgia. We got Georgia because they're anticipated to keep winning. Penn State sneaks in. Miami sneaks in. BYU because they're still winning. And Notre Dame is now 12. Now, again, all of this is going to change, so I'm not overly worried. On the outside looking in, we've got SMU from the ACC. We got Texas A&M because that was a big win. We got Utah from the Big 12. Indiana keeps winning, and it's sexy right now because Army and Navy are undefeated, and they're tied, and they're an American. So just think of how cool that would be if Army or Navy got the Group of 5 bid.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool. Okay. Will, any thoughts on my rankings this week?
All solid. We'll see what happens next week. But so good, so good right here. I like it.
All right, King, any thoughts?
I mean, that's the rankings they have to be, but we all know Penn State, they're frauds. We all know it. They're 5-0, so that's fine.
Every year I get sucked in,
Ole
Mike,
Miss
and
too.
you know it.
We know they're
Ole Miss
frauds.
too.
Yeah,
Ole Miss too.
We know they're frauds. We know it.
All right, okay. Season-long bets, SDC. I got Georgia over 10.5 and Missouri over 9.5. Both of them got 7 games left, so I'm still in it. I'll just say it that way. Big Ten, I got Maryland over 6.5, and I got Oregon over 10.5. They've got 7 games left, so technically I'm still in it. Big 12, beginning of the year, I said I just didn't think Colorado was a good team. We're not hating. We're just doing numbers. I got them under 5.5. They're at 4 with 7 games left. All they have to do is win 2 to get 6 wins, which is an incredible accomplishment to go from 1 to 4 to bowl eligible. And that's how you should look at Deion's season at Colorado. 6 wins. He's coach of the year, in my opinion. All right, I got Utah over 9.5. They got 4 wins, 7 games left. I'm still in the mix. ACC, NC State, I got them over 8.5. SMU over 8.5. Both teams got 6 games left. SMU's got a shot. I don't think NC State has a shot. Notre Dame is my independent school. I've got them over 10.5. I don't like their 7 games left. I think Army, Navy, USC can trip them up. And UMass is under 3.5. They've got 1 win with 6 games left. And, hey, Cotton Man, they got Missouri. They got Mississippi State. They got Liberty. They got Georgia. They got UConn. And they got Wagner. I think I got my first win on the year because they've got to get 3 more wins, and I just don't see it. In the American, Memphis over 9.5, 7 games left. Whatever. USF over 7.5. They've only won 2 with 7 games left. I think I just gave somebody some money. And I got UAB under 6.5 because I don't like Trent Dilfer. That's my level of petty. They've got 1 win with 7 games left. I'm feeling quite comfortable with that one. In the Mountain West, love Boise State over 9. They've got their wins. I got 7 games left. We got a shot. And this is the one. Hey, Robert, I think you might be right on this one. I got New Mexico under 1.5. They've got 7 games left, but they've got some stinkers in the Mountain West, so we'll see what happens. Liberty over 10.5. They're not going to redo their App State game, so they've got to win out. That's like some wrestling angle. So they got to win all 7 for me to get it. FIU, I got them over 4 wins, and they're at 2 with 7 games left. Come on, man, get 3 wins. Little Max show. I got Toledo over 8.5. They're at 4 with 7 games left. Good luck to me. And Western Michigan, only 2 wins right now, over 6.5 with 7 games left. All right. So now let's get to the Super 7 that we did. Last week I was 2-5. This week I'm 4-3. Overall on the season, fellas, I am 21-21. I'll take that after week 6 with the beating I'm taking in the NFL right now. Game of the week, I'm not scared of you. I picked Missouri plus 2.5 over Texas A&M because Missouri had to get a, quote, good road win. And did they get beat? They got beat so bad that the text chain was just hitting me. So whatever. 2 play. San Jose State -7. They didn't get the job done, but Pitt -2.5 against North Carolina. They got the job done. I'm 2-4 with my 2 plays right now. 3 play. I haven't won one all year. Mississippi -9.5 took care of business. Okay. SMU plus 6.5 over Louisville. I'm all in. Well, how did Wake beat North Carolina State? Their quarterback got injured, and that's how it happened because it was North Carolina State plus 4.5, and they just couldn't get the job done. All right. My 4-play money line, we went Toledo, Coastal, Army, Navy. Go with it. Thank you for the win. Will, I'm getting better at the over. I took Tulane versus UAB over 54.5. They got that in the first half. I was like, go ahead and do your thing. Under WVU and Oklahoma State. King, the under was 64.5. And, man, at the end, the Big 12 started scoring again. And in honor of Captain for Life, Will Cotton, Florida against UCF. Florida is the underdog, and they're coming to the Swamp, and that guy's playing for his life. Yeah, give me Florida.
Oh, they were jumping. They jumped right on him. They jumped right on him.
Yeah, you can't lose that one because his key card definitely wouldn't have worked on
right.
Monday. Will, did you do anything strictly for entertainment purposes only this past weekend?
A little bit, but no wins, man. It was all ugliness. It was, other teams to support myself, and they did not. They supported themselves selfishly, but
And Mike King, other than quarterback watching, did you do anything strictly for entertainment purposes only?
Saved my money. Got kid braces to pay for. I
got a show to do is my answer to everything, and I'm getting better at college, NFL. Tune into the Tuesday show, see how I did. Okay. Week 7 games of notes. Now we've got multiple games on multiple nights of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I think up until sometime in late November or December, we've got a college football game or a pro football game on every day of the week. So Thursday, Coastal plays JMU. That game lost some significance. Friday night, Mike King, Northwestern at Maryland on a Friday night when you should be out recruiting, but you're going to be on Fox. How you feeling about that, man?
If you're going to win your bet, that's a must win.
That is a must win.
It is a must win.
All right, and now let's get to Saturday's game. South Carolina at Alabama. I'm going to look at that spread very closely because I think South Carolina's got something coming to them. Missouri is playing UMass for all the wrong reasons. Go Tigers. Get that bounce back. Wisconsin against Rutgers. What happened to Wisconsin? And is Rutgers any good? That's what we're going to find out. UAB against Army. Go Army. Ohio State, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. That's a big one. I'll be watching that line all week. That might be a game of the week. And Ohio State is traveling across the country. So let's see them play on the road. Arizona against BYU. Arizona always plays well when they're not supposed to. Florida, Tennessee. Will, are you thinking about that one? Can Florida keep it going, or we're back to losing?
See. that's the win they needed. They can't overlook UCF, so they beat UCF. Now they can focus on Tennessee. It's going to be exciting. They've seen them bleed, and once you've seen the king bleed, you can go down. So
he's not a machine. He's a man. Okay. Mike King, Penn State plays USC. I'm always sucked in with Penn State because I like James Franklin and the BCA is real. We need more. But every year I'm disappointed. Is this the week they disappoint me?
So they have to travel to California.
Yes.
So that'll be tough. But USC is also not very good. So it's like Penn State's playing. It's the Spider-Man meme. Penn State's playing themselves. You know, they're playing another team that's gonna. Which one of us is gonna choke? So
okay. Ouch. Okay. All right. Iowa State's going to Morgantown. Man, first of all, they get it in Morgantown, and you can ask Following if they get it in Morgantown. That might be the one. I got to check that line. Syracuse is traveling to NC State. Kansas State is playing Colorado. Will, are you confident about Colorado? Kansas State's a ranked team going to Boulder. I
don't think they can. They're not good enough to beat the better teams, but they're going to get that 5 and 6 wins later on. I don't know if that'll be through Kansas State. If it is, put them in the rankings. Let's
put
go.
them in the rankings. All right. Red River rivalry, Texas, Oklahoma at the Cotton Bowl, Texas State Fair. I don't know if Robert ever goes to the Texas State Fair, but
I've been. It's amazing. They'll fry anything for you. A boot, anything, a sweater, a hat. You can eat it, man. I had, and funny enough, they have a hidden beer tent that will serve you for beer for like $2, but they move it every day. So some days you go to this one, it's like, oh, we found the good one, and then they change it. So it's really cool, really fun for everybody. Check it out, even if you're at the game, and catch a corn dog. Those corn dogs are amazing.
I'm trying to lose weight, not gain weight. All right, Mike, Texas, Oklahoma. One, who you playing at quarterback? And two, will Texas just boat race Oklahoma and impress everybody?
I mean, you're asking the wrong person because I'm taking a Manning. I have to. I have no choice. But it's also, I see mock drafts right now where Quinn Ewers is the first quarterback off the board.
Yeah.
And he's the second best quarterback in school. He just is. He's the second best quarterback in his school. I don't want to draft him in the NFL. Give me Cam Ward. Give me Milroe. I don't want the second best quarterback at school where the sophomore is just so much better. It's just clear as day. I'm playing Manning. And as far as Texas, Oklahoma, the old Texas, the Texas I remember when I was like in college, the choking dog Texas, they could be ranked number 1, number 2. They could play the worst Oklahoma team ever. They lose that game. I think they've kind of started to turn that tide recently. I think Texas wins this one. They win handily.
All right. And then the trap game of all trap games at 11 p.m. Eastern time, Boise State is traveling to Hawaii. And that kickoff is at 11. So that's going to be the 7 a.m. Sports Center game. But please don't wake up and see that Boise State couldn't get the job done against Hawaii. That's always tough, man. So on behalf of our Cavalcade of Stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram @OddCoaches.
Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.